And all of a sudden this window opened up where I was safe, I had money, he loved my children. It wasn't something he feared. He seemed to be comfortable with the enormity of the ex-husband. I mean, I felt like I was not coming with baggage, I had trunks.
Hollywood thrives on scandal, and Demi Moore's latest revelation about Ashton Kutcher is nothing short of shocking. Once the golden couple of Tinseltown, their fairy tale romance was the stuff of dreams, glamour, fame, and a love that seemed unbreakable. But now the truth has surfaced, revealing a darker and more twisted story than anyone imagined. What did Ashton Kutcher do that Demi Moore is revealing? What secrets have been hidden all these years? What really lies beneath their once perfect relationship? Join us as we explore one of the most shocking revelations that have been hidden for years. Demi Moore's shocking revelations. This week, Demi Moore sat down with Diane Sawyer on Good Morning America for an intimate and unfiltered conversation about her life, a story rarely shared in full. Known for her glamorous career and high-profile relationships, Moore revealed a side of her journey never before exposed, particularly her tumultuous marriage to Ashton Kutcher. Behind the headlines and public images, what secrets lay hidden? Demi and Ashton's paths crossed in 2003 at a low-key dinner party. She was coming out of her divorce from Bruce Willis, while Ashton was soaring to fame as Hollywood's charismatic new star. Despite their 15-year age difference, their connection was undeniable. At first, it seemed surprising Moore chose a relationship that went against societal expectations. Publicly, their love story was magnetic, earning them the title of Hollywood's hottest couple. But how deep did that connection truly go? What began as a fairy tale romance soon started to show its flaws. Behind the scenes, cracks started to appear. The age difference, the challenges of different life stages, and constant scrutiny took a toll. Ashton, full of youthful energy, concentrated on his career, while Moore balanced motherhood and her personal insecurities from a difficult past. How much pressure can a relationship handle before it breaks apart completely? In 2006, tragedy struck. Demi experienced a heartbreaking miscarriage. Losing their baby girl, whom they had planned to name Chaplain Ray, left her devastated. How could Moore deal with such deep personal sorrow while still maintaining a perfect public image? For Ashton, the loss was just as heartbreaking, but their ability to support each other through this grief seemed to waver. Was their love strong enough to endure such a profound loss? Demi openly shared Ashton's behavior during their marriage, including allegations of infidelity and emotional betrayal. How did these revelations shake the foundation of their relationship? For Moore, her struggles with self-worth deepened, leaving her feeling lost in a union that once stood for strength. Was it possible for trust to ever fully be rebuilt? Their relationship, once seen as the ideal Hollywood romance, fell apart under the burden of deceit and emotional distance. For Demi, ending her marriage meant more than just losing a partner. It was the breakdown of a carefully constructed identity. "I gave so much of myself away," she admitted, reflecting on how the relationship drained her sense of self. How do we reclaim who we are when we've lost pieces of ourselves? Demi Moore's story reveals that even the most glamorous lives are not immune to suffering. Filled with love, loss, and redemption, her narrative reminds us that healing is always within reach, even after the most profound betrayals. Though her marriage to Ashton Kutcher ended in heartbreak, it became a chapter that led her to reclaim her voice and rebuild her life on her terms. What lies ahead in her future is a testament to the power of resilience and transformation. Demi's journey of healing and self-discovery was deeply influenced by the miscarriage, which became a pivotal moment in her path toward strength and growth. The miscarriage that changed everything. The miscarriage that Demi Moore suffered in 2006 shattered not only her dreams, but also the delicate foundation of her marriage to Ashton Kutcher. In her deeply personal memoir, Inside Out, Moore reveals the raw emotions that engulfed her following the loss, describing it as a haunting moment of self-blame and overwhelming grief. The guilt consumed her, driving her into a spiral of darkness. With every passing day, her coping mechanisms, alcohol, prescription drugs like Vicodin, offered temporary escape from the unbearable reality. What had once been a moment of joy and hope spiraled into a nightmare neither Moore nor Kutcher seemed prepared to endure. The toll of this tragedy was catastrophic. For Moore, the emotional divide between her and Kutcher widened with each passing moment. Trust, once the cornerstone of their union, disintegrated slowly but irreversibly. Kutcher's career soared during this time. His television hit Punk cemented his status as a household name, while romantic comedies like What Happens in Vegas showcased his rise in Hollywood. Surrounded by youthful energy and adoring fans, he seemed to thrive in his professional world. Meanwhile, Moore was thrust into a different reality, one of personal healing and family focus. The stark contrast between their paths was glaring, fueling insecurity and endless miscommunication. Her career had slowed, and she chose to step back from acting to focus on her family. This shift created an imbalance in their lives as Kutcher's world revolved around glamorous sets and adoring fans, while Moore's priorities were rooted in home and healing. The disparity in their paths became glaring, fostering insecurity and frequent miscommunication. It wasn't just the grief from their shared tragedy that strained their bond, it was the widening gap in their personal and professional lives. In 2009, a pivotal moment illuminated their unraveling relationship. During the filming of the racy comedy Spread, Kutcher's discomfort with Moore's presence on set became impossible to ignore. He claimed his co-star, Jennifer Jason Leigh, wasn't comfortable with her presence. However, Moore suspected there was something deeper at play. Writing in Inside Out, she revealed, "The truth was he wasn't worried about her feelings. He was worried about mine." This seemingly trivial incident exposed the hidden fissures, fears, lies, and unspoken tensions that were tearing their bond apart. As the years progressed, their dynamic grew darker and more toxic. Moore's struggles with substance abuse escalated, fueled by emotional isolation and the suffocating pressure she felt within the marriage. In her memoir, she described Kutcher's controlling behavior as stripping away her autonomy, leaving her to navigate a world where her voice was silenced. Despite her established influence and experience in Hollywood, she felt diminished, unable to express her true feelings. This power imbalance, compounded by the need to maintain a facade of perfection, pushed her deeper into dependency on substances to numb the pain. The most unsettling revelation came in how Moore described emotional manipulation. She recounted incidents where Kutcher's controlling tendencies chipped away at her self-worth, leaving her powerless to fight for her individuality. Even in a marriage filled with public appearances and curated social media moments that painted a picture of happiness, Moore felt utterly alone, her sense of self eroded by the weight of her partner's influence. By 2009, the miscarriage was no longer just a tragic event, it became the ominous warning of deeper fractures. The facade they maintained began to crumble, exposing the reality of a relationship built on shaky ground. What once seemed like a passionate, unconventional love story had become a haunting tale of betrayal and disillusionment. Their love story, once viewed as modern and boundary-defying, unraveled into something far darker, leaving them to grapple with a future filled with unanswered questions and painful revelations. A third party and the downward spiral. The cracks that began to surface in 2009 had their roots in earlier years. By the late 2000s, Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher's marriage was teetering on the edge of collapse. Publicly, they exuded a picture-perfect image of love and success, admired for their charm and seeming compatibility. Yet, behind closed doors, the cracks were widening. Moore wrestled with unresolved grief from her miscarriage and deep-seated insecurities, while Kutcher's meteoric rise in Hollywood only amplified the tension between them. It was during this fragile time that a controversial decision was made, a decision meant to rekindle their connection but instead set off a chain of events that would shock the world. In her memoir, Inside Out, Moore reveals that Kutcher suggested introducing a third party into their relationship to spice things up and deepen their intimacy. Desperate to prove her adventurous side and fix their faltering bond, Moore reluctantly agreed. What began as a seemingly harmless experiment quickly spiraled into a twisted web of complications they were ill-prepared to handle. The boundaries between love and betrayal blurred, leaving both partners vulnerable in ways they hadn't anticipated. Moore later described the decision with intense regret, writing, "I wanted to show Ashton how fun and exciting I could be, but in hindsight I see it only opened doors to problems we weren't equipped to face. What was meant to bring them closer instead created a chasm, fueling distrust and heartache." The fallout began to surface in 2010 when explosive rumors of infidelity surrounded Kutcher. Reports emerged that he had been unfaithful to Moore with a 21-year-old named Brittany Jones. What made the situation more shocking was the claim that the encounter occurred at their shared home while Moore was away filming on the East Coast. For Moore, the betrayal was gut-wrenching. The idea of her husband bringing another woman into their sacred space, a place filled with shared memories, felt like a brutal violation. In Inside Out, Moore vividly recounts the moment she discovered the affair as a real for you moment that shattered what little trust remained. But the scandal didn't end there. Jones later revealed that she had met Kutcher while he was bowling with Moore's daughter, Rumor Willis. This added a harrowing dimension to the betrayal, dragging Moore's family into the scandal and deepening her humiliation. When Moore confronted Kutcher, his response only deepened her pain. Kutcher attempted to deflect responsibility, using their prior arrangement to justify his actions. "We blurred the lines," he argued, trying to shift blame onto their experiment. But for Moore, this explanation was a bitter pill to swallow, symbolizing how emotionally distant they had become. His deflection cut deeper, showing how disconnected they had grown from one another. Moore felt isolated, unsupported, and betrayed in the worst way. The scandal exploded in the media, turning their once private lives into a spectacle for the tabloids. Every detail of the affair was dissected, and Moore became the target of relentless scrutiny. She struggled with feelings of inadequacy, rejection, and despair. The dream they once shared, the ideal marriage, was shattered beyond repair. The emotional torment compounded by the public gaze pushed Moore back into a cycle of substance abuse as her mental health teetered on the edge. By the end of 2010, the trust between Moore and Kutcher had completely disintegrated. The small fissures that appeared years ago had widened into gaping chasms, leaving little hope for reconciliation. What began as a desperate attempt to salvage their relationship revealed the fragility of their connection. Their love story, once hailed as unconventional and modern, became a cautionary tale, a painful testament to the devastating impact of betrayal. The aftermath would only amplify the heartbreak. With every revelation, the illusion of their perfect relationship crumbled further, leaving Moore and Kutcher to grapple with a shared history tainted by betrayal and heartbreak. What seemed like a love built on dreams of forever was now a haunting reflection of broken trust and irreparable loss. The final blow. The cracks in Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher's marriage, already widened by earlier challenges, deepened irreparably during their 6th wedding anniversary. What should have been a milestone of love and commitment became a painful reminder of betrayal, leading their relationship down an irreversible path. The events of that fateful weekend would not only test Moore's resilience, but also mark the beginning of the end for Hollywood's once-beloved couple. As the couple's anniversary approached, the shadow of infidelity loomed large. On the eve of their special day, Kutcher attended a bachelor party for his friend and former co-star Danny Masterson at the Hard Rock Hotel in San Diego. What unfolded that night would become the most publicized and painful betrayal of their tumultuous union. Reports emerged that Kutcher had an intimate encounter with a 22-year-old woman named Sarah Leal. The story quickly gained traction, and the details shocked everyone, especially Moore. According to Leal, she met Kutcher at the party and joined him and others in a hot tub before they retreated to his room. In interviews, Leal alleged that Kutcher initiated the encounter, claiming he was separated from Moore at the time. For Moore, the timing of the scandal was devastating. The anniversary, a day meant to celebrate their union, now stood as a painful marker of their disconnection. Learning about the betrayal on such a significant occasion felt like an intentional wound. Moore later wrote about the emotional impact, admitting she felt physically ill when she discovered the truth. Adding insult to injury, Leal claimed that Kutcher had justified his actions by saying he craved real moments, in contrast to the artificial nature of his acting career. For Moore, this reasoning was not only hurtful, but emblematic of a growing emotional distance between them. Kutcher's reaction to the scandal added another layer of pain. While he had previously dismissed other infidelity rumors, he remained silent about the Leal allegations. His refusal to address the issue publicly left Moore to bear the brunt of the media scrutiny alone. Headlines dissected every aspect of their relationship, turning their private pain into a public spectacle. Moore, already grappling with the emotional fallout, now faced the additional burden of media judgment. Her status as a Hollywood icon made her vulnerability a topic of endless speculation, with every gesture and appearance analyzed for signs of a breakdown. For a woman who had prided herself on strength and independence, this invasion of privacy was a crushing blow. Despite the turmoil, Moore attempted to maintain her composure. She focused on her daughters and her work, channeling her energy into her roles as a mother and actress. However, the emotional toll was undeniable. The betrayal, compounded by its public nature, left her feeling isolated and exposed. Behind the scenes, Moore struggled to make sense of the situation. She had endured a series of emotional blows in her marriage, from the introduction of a third party to earlier infidelity rumors, but this incident felt like the ultimate violation. The anniversary scandal wasn't just about broken trust, it symbolized the collapse of a foundation they had built together. As the fallout from the scandal continued, it became clear that their marriage was no longer sustainable. The events surrounding their anniversary served as a harsh reminder of how far they had drifted apart. The connection that had once defined their relationship was now overshadowed by betrayal and disillusionment. For Moore, the betrayal wasn't just personal, it was deeply symbolic. It signaled the end of an era in her life, one filled with hope, love, and aspirations for a lasting partnership. By 2011, the couple's bond had deteriorated to the point where reconciliation seemed impossible. The anniversary betrayal marked a pivotal turning point in Moore and Kutcher's story. What began as a whirlwind romance had spiraled into heartbreak and public humiliation. The events of that year solidified the trajectory toward their eventual separation, leaving behind lessons about trust, boundaries, and the high price of public scrutiny. As Moore reflected on the devastating unraveling of her marriage, she was left to pick up the pieces and find a way forward on her own terms. A legacy of heartbreak and redemption. What had once been a love story celebrated for its charm and modernity had morphed into a cautionary tale of betrayal and heartbreak. Their public separation was finalized in November, but the emotional unraveling had begun long before. For Moore, the end of their 6-year marriage marked the collapse of a dream she had once cherished, a bond she fought to preserve despite its glaring fractures. As the world watched, Moore embarked on a journey through pain, self-reflection, and ultimately redemption. Her memoir, Inside Out, unveiled the raw truth of her experiences, peeling back the layers of her public persona to reveal the private battles she had faced. The book painted a haunting picture of a woman grappling with loss, not just of a marriage, but of the self she had known. Moore candidly recounted the years of emotional turmoil, recounting her attempts to reconcile love and betrayal. In the aftermath of the divorce, Moore found herself navigating a world filled with shadows, echoes of the life she had built with Kutcher. Her physical and mental health spiraled, compounded by years of unresolved pain. Addiction, which had lingered as a quiet thread in her past, resurfaced with a vengeance. Moore turned to substances in an effort to numb the anguish that had taken root, leading to a very public health scare in 2012. A seizure during a party landed her in the hospital, transforming her private struggles into tabloid fodder. For Moore, this public unraveling served as a wake-up call. It became a pivotal moment in her path to recovery. Therapy and spirituality became her cornerstones as she worked to rebuild her life. She focused on her daughters, leaning into her role as a mother while rediscovering her sense of purpose. The process was neither quick nor straightforward. It was a painstaking journey marked by setbacks and small victories. In stark contrast to Moore's public reckoning, Ashton Kutcher chose a quieter path. While Moore was bearing her soul through her memoir, Kutcher quickly moved on, beginning a relationship with Mila Kunis. The pair, who shared history as co-stars on That 70s Show, found solace in one another, eventually marrying in 2015. Kutcher's decision to remain silent about the events of his past relationship created an air of mystery around his side of the story. For many, Kutcher's silence felt like an escape, a way to distance himself from the scandal and emotional wreckage. While Moore worked through her pain in the public eye, Kutcher appeared to close the chapter on their shared history, building a new life defined by stability and family. Moore's memoir was more than a tell-all, it was a reclamation of her narrative. Through its pages, she confronted her darkest moments with courage and clarity. Her story became a beacon for others navigating the complexities of love, betrayal, and healing. For Moore, writing Inside Out was as much about unearthing her identity as it was about sharing her truth. The revelations in the memoir touched on far more than her marriage to Kutcher. They explored her childhood trauma, her battles with addiction, and the weight of maintaining an image in Hollywood. Moore's honesty was met with both praise and criticism, but it solidified her as a figure of resilience, a woman who refused to let her past define her future. Even as they've moved on, the story of Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher continues to capture public fascination. Their marriage, once seen as a union of opposites that worked against all odds, is now a stark reminder of the complexities that can underlie seemingly perfect relationships. Moore's journey through heartbreak has been one of transformation, while Kutcher's path has taken a quieter, more private trajectory. Questions remain about what remains unsaid. Will Kutcher ever address the events that shaped their tumultuous split? Are there layers to their story that remain hidden in the shadows? Moore's revelations in Inside Out brought many answers but also left room for mystery, ensuring their story remains a topic of intrigue. Today, Moore stands as a testament to the power of vulnerability and self-reclamation. Her willingness to confront her past has not only inspired others, but also allowed her to move forward with a renewed sense of self. The scars of her marriage to Kutcher, while deep, have become part of the tapestry of her life, a life that continues to evolve and inspire. Kutcher, too, has built a new chapter for himself, focusing on his family and career. The public's perception of him, however, remains tinged by the controversies of his past. While he and Moore have taken vastly different approaches to healing, their story serves as a reminder of the complexities of love and the resilience of the human spirit. As the dust settles on their shared history, one thing is clear: the legacy of their union is one of both caution and hope. It underscores the fragility of relationships in the public eye and the strength it takes to rise from the ashes of heartbreak. Their story, though deeply personal, resonates as a universal tale of love, loss, and redemption. Demi Moore's shocking revelation about Ashton Kutcher has exposed a haunting truth that can no longer be ignored. As more details come to light, the public's demand for transparency and accountability grows louder. What do you think of this betrayal? How do you view the unraveling of their once perfect relationship? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story strikes a chord with you, give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and stay tuned for more updates on this unfolding drama.